For all hard rock, heavy metal bands needing worldwide exposure at affordable prices, Online Metal Promo PR is taking bands from the underground to above ground. Visit their official website at onlinemetalpromo.net. onlinemetalpromo.net.
With your hosts, Wayne New, Greg Narlo, and Lou Maddox.
Today we are joined by Paul Van. Go ahead and pronounce your last name because I'm probably going to mess it up.
It's Van Valkenburgh, but everybody just calls me Van V.
All right, even easier for me to pronounce. Paul Van V from the band Tubefreeks from Maryland. Welcome, Paul.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you having me on, Wayne.
Thanks for coming on the show. Now, I've never heard of you guys before, so it's very new to me. But you guys have been around for almost like 2 decades now.
Yeah, longer than that actually, but yeah, quite a long time.
Wow. So tell me how the band got started.
Well, just kind of the way I'm sure a lot of bands do. The group of us were playing in other bands, going out to clubs, and so you're always eyeing out other guys, saying, "Man, that guy's really good, and maybe I can steal him for my band." And so when we first started, we kind of put together like a local super group of guys, and that's how it got started.
Oh, very cool. Yes, actually, that's kind of funny because the band I'm doing now, I'm doing it with a bunch of guys that I know. But my guitar player, I've known him for probably like 20 years. And back when I was in my older band, that's how I became friends with him. He used to be friends with I think my singer. So he always came to my shows. And so I always said, we should do a band together. So, finally, like 20 years later, we're finally doing a band together.
Yeah, that happens a lot. There's so many friends that you talk about doing stuff with still, and hopefully you can one day with everybody.
Yeah, I was lucky that he finally has nothing to do, and any of the other bands that he was doing weren't working out, so ours is working out perfect. So everything is good. So I'm glad that happened for you as well. And you guys have a couple albums out, and I was listening through the first 2 that are on streaming at least, and then listening to the new stuff. And I hear there's a big kind of a difference between the older stuff and the new stuff. The new stuff seems a little bit heavier, almost kind of in the metal, genre a little bit. And the older stuff seems a little bit more maybe alternative type thing. So is that kind of like a conscious thing that you did, or it just happened to be you guys got a little bit heavier?
I'd say it was definitely a conscious thing. Yeah, we when we set out to do this album, we actually have a couple of new guys. Our new drummer, Chris Bottolato, who's, by the way, our amazing sound engineer too. Wow. He just came in, and our guitarist Rob Portillo. Those guys, they love heavy stuff, and I love heavy stuff, and it wasn't like we weren't trying to be heavy before, but this time we came approached this album with a definite goal to be more heavy this time.
Yeah. Like what kind of bands are you usually into?
Well, we like everything, across the board. From way back 60s, 70s, 80s bands, but some of the heavier bands that we listen to, I'm sure most guys out there listening to these days, Slipknot, Gojira.
Okay.
I really love Ginger. I got my Ginger shirt on.
Oh my god, cool.
But we're not in the heavy as those bands, but I would agree that we're kind of bordering with this new album on hard rock and metal kind of right there.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Because like I said, I was listening to some of the older stuff, and then when I was reading the the bio about the band and everything, and then seeing that you guys did take a heavier direction, and I went back and heard the older stuff. I'm like, wow, yeah, they did a lot of things different with this new stuff, because it was the older stuff was kind of very alternative, I think, in a way, which it was still good too. It's fine. I like alternative music as well, so that's fine by me. But the new stuff I like to hear the rest of the album too, because I like more heavier type stuff. So and the two songs you have out now are they're pretty heavy. So is the rest of the album kind of in that same direction?
Yeah, definitely. We're really excited about the album. We really took our time to make sure that everything was right and that we liked all the songs. And I'd say there's 12 songs. It comes out November 5th. It's titled Unhinged. And I would say 11 of the 12 songs are heavy. There's one sort of parody kind of fun song, but the vast majority of the album is heavy. So we're real excited about that.
What's the fun song about?
Well, where we live in the Maryland, Pennsylvania area, we're real close to West Virginia.
Oh, okay.
And so the song's titled West Virginia. And so it's kind of a loving parody on, redneck life, that kind of thing. But it's sort of a one-off. The rest of the songs are like the other two you've heard, real, just straightforward, heavy. And we're really proud too of the fact that we think that all the songs kind of have a different flavor to themselves, where the whole album doesn't all sound the same. Like every song kind of has its own thing, and so we're really psyched about it.
Yeah, that's what I like too. Like when you listen to an album, and sometimes you listen to an album, and every song almost sounds the same, and you can't decipher what song was what by the time you're done listening to it. So knowing that every song's got its own feel for your album, that gives me relief.
Yeah. And we'll be happy to get you a copy of it.
Yeah.
As soon as it comes out, I'll send it to you, just so you can check it out, because we're really proud of it. I always hesitate to say, well, you're gonna like it, because who knows, if not everybody's gonna like everything, but we'll just say I think you would like it, and we hope you would like it.
All right. Now, the last album you released was from 2017, and this one obviously coming out this year. So how come there was such a long gap between the albums?
Well, it wasn't that we weren't working. COVID shut a lot of people down, and we just kind of were like, screw it. We actually continued to practice and play through COVID. But what took so long was that after we released The Dry Tide, we kind of toured on that album for a couple of years. We did a lot of stuff in our region, but also nationally. And looking back, we kind of made the mistake of not starting to write right away. Right. So it was probably a year or two after that was released that we started writing this album. And it took us a long time to write the album, because we ended up dumping, I would say, maybe 6 or 8 songs, because we were so particular. We had this one song that was a really good song. We liked it. It kind of reminded us of like a Beatles song or something, but it just didn't fit the heavy direction we were going. But it was a really good song. So we ended up dropping that and some other songs. And then the recording process took us a long time, just because, well, we all have jobs, and so we get together, once a week, like most, non-signed bands, and once or twice a week. And we were just really, really particular with the recording too. And so it was really hard to record the album. It took us a long time. So I know that's a long-winded answer, but that's kind of what we were doing.
I totally get it. So you guys actually go into a studio and practice together.
Yeah.
Well, are you all like in the same area?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Mhm.
So you don't do any maybe you do. Do you like file share to each other on the like through emails and send each other songs to work on at home and stuff like that? Or
We
you mainly
do.
just work on in the studio?
We do, but mainly in the studio. But we do some of the file sharing, and definitely will document ideas that we all have. So all three of us are writers.
Yeah.
And so we'll come up with ideas and kind of document, the basic idea, and then bring it to the other guys. They'll be like, oh, yeah, I love this part. Oh, yeah, that part sucks. Yeah,
Yeah, I know all about that.
Well, one thing, it's funny that you mentioned that, is, we've all been in so many bands where somebody will come with a song and you'll say, well, what if you changed this one part or something? And a lot of guys are like, well, that's the way I wrote the song.
Right.
And that makes it difficult.
Right.
Because somebody else might be able to see things in a way that maybe you didn't or I didn't. So we all agreed when we started this album that we weren't going to get butthurt, when somebody said, hey, you can still say it nicely, like, well, maybe we can try something else here.
Right.
But like, don't get tied to one idea where you're like, okay, this is the way it has to go. Because there's no right or wrong. It can go a million different ways.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And I also think that helps the band be more unique also, because you're not just taking the input from just that one person. It's coming from everybody. So,
Right.
The song might start off sounding like what that guy, made it to be, but then, the next person's going to add whatever they do into it, and it's going to be something totally different.
Exactly. And we did a lot of that. We also had another rule that we made up, which I think is a rule that really every band should have, is that everybody had to like all of the songs.
Mm-hmm.
and they had to like all of the parts of all of the songs.
Right.
So if somebody came in to practice, whatever, and we're like, I really like this song, but when it comes to the chorus, I just feel like it's not, rising above, or, it's just not popping, and it just doesn't feel good or whatever.
Right.
Then we'd say, okay. And so like that song, the first song we put out, Release the Crow, that chorus, I think we rewrote that chorus like 5 times.
Oh, wow.
We have so many different versions of it because somebody would come in and complain about it.
Right.
And that was the rule. If you don't like it, or if I didn't like it, okay, well, then let's try to come up with something better.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Oh, so it works. It might take the album 5 years to come out, but
that's exactly the whole thing. Why it did take us so long, because we were like really, really picky about stuff.
That's how you have to be. I totally get it, because you don't want something going out there. You don't want an album going out there and then people listening to it, and it's like, all right, well, these 3 tracks are great, but then the rest are kind of like, eh. So as long as you guys are putting your full effort into it and not wanting to release something unless it's all you agree that it's good, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's a good formula, but you're right, it does make it that it takes more time, because if somebody comes in and they don't like it, but like you said, if somebody doesn't like something, well, then there's a good chance other people are not going to like it too.
Right.
Where if all 3 of us are like, yeah, we like that.
Right.
Then maybe it has a better chance.
Yeah, I think so. And if nobody else likes it, then tough shit. There's 13 other songs they can listen to. You'll find something else. Not everybody's going to like everything.
That's true. You're not gonna please everybody.
Yeah, no, not at all.
But you do want to please yourself. I remember even John Lennon, I think, said that. He's like, if I don't like my own music, he's like, how would I ever expect anybody else to like it?
Right. Yeah.
So,
But that's I think that's the most important thing. As long as you like it. If I don't like to say fans are second, but if you're into what you're releasing and what you put out, I mean that's what matters. I think the most. And then the fans, of course, you want to know that people actually do like your stuff, because then they buy your stuff and you get to play out and stuff like that. But I think it's important for you to get your stuff out there.
Yeah, exactly.
You played with a lot of bands like Godsmack. Did you play with them like fairly recently?
Well, we list that, and a lot of bands put stuff like that to make themselves look good, and we did play with them, but it was at a festival.
Oh, okay.
So,
so you still play with them? It's all right. I never played with them. It's better than not playing with them.
We played the Blue Ridge Rock Festival. It's a pretty big one. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Where are you located?
I'm in New York.
New York. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this last one that they just had was huge.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, the Blue Ridge Rock Festival.
Mm-hmm.
All the big Slipknot, on down. And so we had played that in 2018 and 2019, but also we've opened for nationals, here and there for a long time.
Mm.
So yeah, we've played with a lot of bands.
And what was your favorite show you guys done so far?
I would have to say probably when we played the main stage there at Blue Ridge. That was the day Lamb of God played, Puddle of Mud. That was fun for us, unsigned band to be on the same stage, a big, huge festival stage. Usually
right.
Clubs and smaller stages.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, that's cool. Hey, you got to be on the stage with them. That counts. I'll take that.
Well, yeah, what we thought was so cool, and this is probably going to sound ridiculous to your listeners, but we're so used to humping our stuff where the band before us will come off the stage and we're like, oh, okay, well, they just got their drums off the stage. Let's go throw our drums up on the stage.
Right.
Where there, on the left side of the stage, they have this giant rolling platform. And then on the right side of the stage, they have another giant rolling platform.
Right.
And so when the one band finishes, all of their shit just gets rolled right off, and then your stuff just gets rolled right on. And we were like, wow, that's cool.
I know. I remember those days. I haven't played a show since, God, maybe 2008-ish, something like that. So it's been a long time. But I kind of miss it, but I kind of don't. I'm one of those. I'm a drummer, so of course I got all the equipment. I got the worst part of the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
And back in those days, I used to have an 8-piece kit. I still have it, but I used to bring the whole kit, and it was a nightmare trying to set all that up. And I had it set up quick. I had markers where everything would just be. I would do it in 2 minutes or whatever. But I don't miss doing that anymore.
Yeah, it's tough, but
plus the way the way it is now. I mean, especially now. I mean, when's the last time you guys played out to a show?
Well, we played at the Baltimore Sound Stage in July, and then we're playing this Saturday at a real small place up in Martinsburg, West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
So we played some recently.
Yeah. Then how was the crowds like? Because now everybody, obviously, the COVID thing is finally lifted. And
the crowd at the Baltimore Sound Stage was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
That's a national room, and so we were able to really push that. That's what it was. We've played there before and had some good crowds. And so, the one thing I would say about live shows these days is it seems to me like I don't know how many years ago, but that you used to be able to get nationals on shows with nationals like locally. So a national like say Fuel or Saliva or somebody like that
Right.
would come through, and the club would be like, oh, okay, let's put a couple of openers from this area on that can draw some people. But these days it seems like, I guess a lot of people have caught on to the fact that, you know, other bands want to be on those tours.
Right.
And so you see so many of those national groups coming through now where they already have a whole package, and they'll have 2 or 3 bands touring with them. And so the opportunities to get on to those kind of one-off local shows for nationals, I think it has become less.
Right.
Right.
Well, that kind of sucks.
It does. So you got to figure out, well, how can you get on these tours or else get into those festivals? And so,
yeah. So how is the music scene where you are? Is it like I mean, because it's Maryland, so I don't know. I've never been to Maryland.
It's okay. You know, Baltimore has some stuff. DC. There's
Actually, you know what? No, what am I talking about? There's a radio station in Maryland, 97 Underground.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. All right. Yeah, and he's always putting on shows there. We talked to I don't know if you know Evil Scott from the Zombie Ritual Radio.
No, I mean, I'd like to get in touch with them because I have friends whose bands have been on that. There's also another radio station called Bob Rocks. You ever heard of that?
No, that one I haven't heard of.
So that one's up towards like Hagerstown. Interstate 81 kind of goes Harrisburg, Hagerstown, Martinsburg, Winchester. Those are like Virginia, Pennsylvania, Maryland. But there's a lot of rockers up in those areas.
Yeah.
You know, areas like Baltimore, there's definitely a lot of people who like rock, but you know, in these cities, you get all types of genres these days.
Right. Yeah.
So,
so have you ever played out in New York?
yeah,
Where'd you play?
we played CBGB's twice.
Oh, really?
I guess that dates us because that's been closed.
actually, the funny thing is, I think one of my last shows was CBGB's, so I closed it down.
Yeah, we played there. We played in Brooklyn a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And we've played a couple other spots in New York. So then that doesn't include New Jersey, but
yeah, we don't talk about New Jersey here.
Yeah, we don't talk about New Jersey.
Yeah, I remember the CBGB's. How did you like that place? Because it was I always wanted to see what the inside of that place looked like. Because obviously, you know, it has history. And then when you go there, and there's a stage. If nobody's been there, it was just a room and a stage. The stage was like 12 feet tall, you know, and you felt like you were like up in the sky, and the audience was like down on the floor. It was a very weird building.
It was,
and it was very dirty.
It was very dirty, but there was like 50 billion stickers on the wall.
Oh yeah, yep.
So what we found is so we played there twice, and one of the times we kind of just went there by ourselves, and when it was kind of empty, it was like, it wasn't that good.
Yeah.
But one time we filled up a bus full of people.
All right.
Brought an entire big coach full of people up there.
Right.
And then the place turned into a madhouse.
Oh yeah.
So it was a lot more fun then.
It's always fun when there's a crowd.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was a cool place to go finally see it, but just to know the history that happened there and the way it looked and everything, I was just like, you know, just like any other place in Manhattan, really.
Yeah, but we're looking to get back there with this album. So we've kind of been slow on the gigs because we've been finishing the mastering and getting the artwork together for the full album to make sure it's ready for the release, but it's ready to go and done. And so we have our CD release party is November 5th here in our hometown. It was Frederick, Maryland.
Okay.
And then after that, we're going to be going for it. We hope to be playing Blue Ridge again in 2023.
All right.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing a lot more shows now that all of this recording is done.
Yeah, very cool. And all right, so when does the album actually come out? Unhinged? When does it come out again?
November 5th.
November 5th. All right, very cool. 2 days after my father's birthday. So I'll have to get him a copy. So can people go to a website to buy the album, or how are you guys selling it, or let us know?
Yep, they can buy it, directly through our website, but also on iTunes, Amazon Music, and then it's on all the Spotify, YouTube, all of the normal sites.
All the usual stuff. Are you a big streaming guy, or are you more like a physical release type person?
You mean like when I listen to music, or you for our band?
For when you listen, yeah.
Well, I like both. I think a physical copy, well, I know it sounds better.
Right. Yeah.
Streaming, they put the songs through these algorithms and their MP3 files, where when you get a physical CD, it's burned from a wave.
Right.
You're going to get a lot better sound. I see all of the music behind you. So
yeah, I have a few.
Well, I want to know how you came up with Rat Salad, because I love that song.
Oh, you're the first person I actually knew it was a song, which shocks me, by the way.
Are you kidding? We have a song. I love Black Sabbath. They're one of our major influences. But we have a song that we modeled after that.
All right.
And Moby Dick.
Oh, cool. All right, cool. I'll have to check. What is the song's name, so I know?
The song is called Piranha.
Okay.
And it was from 2 albums ago. And you probably got to get going, but I'll tell you the funniest story. So Rat Salad and Moby Dick, those were songs where they came out with a really cool riff.
Right.
And then there was a long drum solo.
Right.
But then both of the songs, at the end of the song, went back and played the riff again.
Right. Yeah.
Like a little bit of the riff. And I was like, well, I'd like to put together a song that has that same model. And so if you listen to Piranha, it has like a really cool jam. And then it goes into this drum solo, and then it goes back to the jam.
Right.
So I put it on the album. I was like, yeah, man, Rat Salad, Moby Dick, people are going to love this. Well, we ended up sending it out, and these critics and stuff were like, who the fuck puts a drum solo song on their album? And all this shit. I was like, what are you talking about, man?
Yeah, apparently they never listened to music before.
Yeah, so when I saw Rat Salad, I was like, cool.
Yeah, actually, I did not come up with it, unfortunately. When I started this show, one of the other co-hosts that I had at the time, he came up with the name. And then I kicked him off, and I kept the name.
Okay, well, that works.
So he's gone. I kept the name. Haha. He didn't care. But I like the name. The name fit the show a lot too. So I kept it. I couldn't get rid of that name. So
right.
Yeah. What is the website? What is the website people can go to?
It's Tubefreeks. So Tube, Tube, one word, Tubefreeks. But the important thing to remember is that the word freaks has 2 E's in it.
Right. Do you want to tell people where that band name came from?
Well, I'll try and make it quick. We had a shitty name before that.
Right.
And so we had some guys that were thinking about some various names, and it actually comes from a book.
Okay.
This guy wrote about these people that had a disorder where they couldn't stop watching TV.
Oh, all right.
And so he called them Tubefreeks.
Got it.
And he spelled it that way in the book. In hindsight, maybe we shouldn't have spelled it that way because nobody could ever find it,
Yeah.
But it's a better spelling, but
it's cool. It's it's not it's a typical band thing to do. You don't spell it the way things are supposed to be spelled.
Well, there you go. That makes me feel better.
I like it. It's cool. So what is it? It's Tube Freeks. Is it .com?
.com. Tubefreeks.com.
Go to .com, and I'm sure you got Facebook and everything as well.
Yep, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So sign up for our Facebook, and we'll annoy the shit out of you with lots of posts.
Sounds perfect. So everybody sign up for that and wait for the album Unhinged to come out November 5th of this year, 2022. All right.
Okay.
Paul, thank you very much for coming on the show. I wish you luck with the new album.
Thank you, Wayne. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, no problem. And hope to have you on for the next album. Hopefully another 5-10 years from now.
No, well, hopefully it'll be sooner. And I will make sure that as soon as it comes out that I get you a full copy.
All right, very cool. I will give you my address, and I appreciate that very much.
Sure. Well, thank you. And give me the address because I will send you the hard copy.
All right, very cool. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Everybody, please go to ratsoutreview.com, hit subscribe, and please get our subs up. We're almost at 1,000. I actually think we're 162 away from 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So almost being able to monetize and make some money. Probably
Kick ass, man.
Yeah, probably get like a penny a show or something. Who knows? I don't know. I don't care.
Well, we'll definitely share the interview too on all of our socials and ask everybody to subscribe.
All right, very cool. I thank you very much. I appreciate that. And we'll see you guys next week. Go check out Tubefreeks with 2 E's, not Freak, 2 E's, tubefreeks.com.
Great. Thank you again, Wayne.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Looking for some new podcasts to listen to? Well, look no further than the Rat's Eye Review Network. Rat's Eye Review is taking over the podcast world with plenty of shows to choose from within their network of entertaining programming, including the flagship show Rat's Eye Review with Wayne Noon, Greg Noggle, and Lou Mavs, as well as occasional co-hosts Manny Mejias and James Lilquist. We also have the official Rat's Eye Review spin-offs, such as Album vs. Album, Screams from the Grave, where we discuss beloved yet forgotten hard rock and metal albums of the past, and a King Diamond podcast called This Broadcast Belongs to Them. We've also got Old Man Metal's Musings, The Right Opinion with Harrison Bergeron, Beyond Bushido, a podcast dedicated to pro wrestling and MMA with James Lilquist and Eric Adams. No relation to the guy from Manowar or the mayor of New York City. The Vieira Vault with Ralph Vieira. Schmack-a-magob! Schmack-a-magob to you too, Ralph. The Timo Tolkki podcast featuring Stradivarius and Avalon founding member Timo Tolkki. The BS Sessions with Mark and Jerry. Just the Cheese Please, a podcast dedicated to cheesy films of the 1980s with Tara J. and Adam. The Friday Night Party with the great Harry Barnett and Evie. And the Music is Life podcast with Lou Mavs. The Rat's Eye Review Network is your go-to one-stop shop for the best podcasts out there today. Go to ratseyereview.com for more info and to find out where you can find, follow, subscribe, and comment on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and all streaming platforms. The Rat's Eye Review Network. We're taking over.